3, 2, 1. Today's podcast is presented by PODGO. PODGO is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from PODGO. We recently joined as a member, and you can too. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co. Don't forget to add the 2-on-1 podcast in the How Did You Hear About PODGO section of your application. Now get ready for the rest of the episode.
We are back. Woo!
Yay! Yeah.
There's the energy.
Yeah, I told you.
Whoa.
There it. That was bad.
Come on, Daniel. Imagine the Ducks scored a goal, okay? That's what I want you. That's where I want
It's
your
been so
energy
long.
to
It
be.
feels like a lifetime ago that happened.
And just pretend it was a John Gibson big save.
Oh.
Still a long time ago, but
Mm-hmm.
during the chances the Ducks let up, it's more recent than that.
Okay, Derek Grant lays a hit.
No, we don't like that guy anymore.
Oh, okay.
Why? Because he's a flyer?
Yeah.
Because he tapped Suzuki on the head.
I thought
Yeah.
Thompson tapped Suzuki on the head. That's
no,
why I
he wouldn't.
thought.
No, it was Derek Grant.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
why. That's why.
Nate Thompson wouldn't do that because they're buddies.
That's why I
Former
thought it would have been
I know.
funny.
No.
Derek Grant, not a friend of the show anymore.
No.
Was he ever a friend? Like we never.
Yeah,
met
he
him.
was. So 2 years ago,
Dude,
when the Ducks had a lot of injuries, he was their first line center for most
Good.
of the season.
good God.
Hey, good piece. Just
He had like 38 points for the season. I mean, not bad.
Yeah, it was when they hit the Flyers got him and Nate Thompson. It was like, good, you're adding center depth. I mean,
Yeah.
Those guys need to pick up the slack because it took Claude Giroux 17 games to score a goal. But we'll get to the playoffs a little later in the show. I actually want to start with some F1 stuff very, very quickly.
Of course.
I know this is a hockey show and people don't really care about F1.
Of course.
This weekend is Monza, the Temple of Speed in Italy. And like as a Ferrari fan, I just feel like we need to take a second to respect them and just give our best wishes to Ferrari.
No.
I don't think they're going to get a keel on this weekend.
No,
And the Italian media are going to have a field day. And like, man, it feels the similarities between being a Habs fan and even though it's my first season watching F1, being a Ferrari fan. The harsh media.
Wait, I thought you became a Racing Point fan because we all found out that Lance Stroll was a Montreal Canadiens fan. Or
Yeah.
did that switched after
Was that the
one
connection?
weekend?
No.
No, I like Stroll, but I don't like Perez. The guy just has a really bad habit of trying to squeeze people into the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Pierre
not
Gasly.
benching enough on the rush.
No, wrong sport, Daniel. But just a second, because if there were fans at Monza this year, my God, they would not be having a good time.
We
I'm
would
really
be there.
What?
Yeah,
We would be there.
I wish I was supposed to go to Italy over the summer, but then COVID. Thanks. Hey, I'm rewatching Monza from last year, and it's just like the fans are going nuts. Hamilton's making some mistakes. Vettel spun in the first 7 laps. It's nuts. But we can start with some hockey.
That's what happens when you have an illegal engine.
Yeah,
Just putting it out there.
it's more than the engine at this. The engine's massive, but
Well, last year Ferrari had.
oh no, that's what I mean. Yeah, they were their speed on the straights is ridiculous. Hamilton, even they're so quick. I need more power. When the Mercedes engine is saying that, a lot of issues on Ferrari. Please.
Oh yeah.
Poor Carlos Sainz. Though we'll go with the most recent point of news to start today. That is Bill Zito, who was the assistant GM or an assistant GM for the Columbus Blue Jackets, has been named the new general manager of the Florida Panthers. This was not a guy who we were hearing was one of the many people being interviewed for this job, and apparently he's a very non-nonsense, straight-away type of guy, which I think the Panthers actually could use a guy like this. Alex, looking at what Columbus have done the past few years in finding players, their goalie pools, guys like Alex Texier, and the fact that the Panthers need to find that scouting guy. What do you make of the hire of Bill Zito?
I think, yeah. Listen, when I see Jeff Merrick come out and say this is a guy that was going to get a job eventually, that definitely says something to me. I believe he was the the assistant GM who also ran their AHL team, and you saw how dependent the Blue Jackets were this season on that AHL team, and those guys would come up, and they'd fit in perfectly. So, I mean, it seems like that AHL team fit with the NHL team, and I think that's one aspect that's really important for an NHL franchise to do. You don't want guys going up and down and just being confused on the styles of play. So I think number one, yeah, absolutely bringing in key pieces for cheap and being able to run this franchise, because they have some serious work to do.
Daniel, your thoughts? Bill Zito, great name too.
Yeah, he's been in the game a while. Looking at what he's been able to do as a player agent, it's pretty interesting how that approach is gonna transfer to the Panthers in a way. Like looking at the past contracts he had, like he was able to get like James Wisniewski, like Brian Rafalski, Tuukka Rask, all those like huge contracts. And it's interesting for me because like you go to a Panthers team where like they actually do have quite a few bloated contracts as well. And is he gonna take like the Jarkko Kekalainen approach where he's gonna be a bit of a hardline kind of guy and go, this is the money, this is where it's at, or it's gonna be the same thing where he's not afraid to give out those big deals, those especially the term that's they're provided for it as well.
I wonder, the reason that I would argue that that's probably not going to happen is because I'm sure there was a discussion with Panthers ownership, considering how big the thing, and this is pre-pandemic, of them having to cut salary at the deadline. And what sort of happened there? Just coincidentally, the amount of money that Sergei Bobrovsky makes, they had to cut. But I really do like the idea of a no-nonsense guy coming into the situation, because I think you need a real – sorry about that. I'll put my phone on to silent. Oh, boy. First, I was late. The Habs got Jake Allen?
What?
What? No, I'm not reading this right.
Definitely not reading.
What? That was from the Habs app. Hold on a minute. Okay, whoa, hold on.
You definitely did read that right. There's literally
Montreal Canadiens. Hold on a minute. Canadiens.
Oh yeah, they did. The Canadiens.
What?
Yeah, Montreal just tweeted it.
What? I don't know if you guys are messing with me or something.
For a third and a seventh in this round.
So wait. Let's break this down now. Sorry, Florida. For a third and a seventh
in this year's draft. Oh my God! Hold on a minute. Jake Allen was a backup goalie.
I mean, that's a pretty good backup goalie.
I want to just quickly talk. Okay, we don't care about the Panthers. I'm sorry.
No,
great. You got your guy. Great.
Yeah.
Budaj, Tokarski, Montoya, Lindgren, Niemi, Scrivens. Oh my God, Condon. Oh, we lost Daniel. Are just the lists of backups the Habs have had who have just been sieves over the past. And in a backup role, 24 games for Jake Allen, looking a 927 save percentage. This guy could not do it as a starter, but I think as a backup.
I mean, they finally got the guy who can actually play legitimate games instead of, right? Like, we saw it with Jake Allen, and I know they're out of the playoffs now, but they were riding the hot hand of Jake Allen, whether that continues next year. But the thing that we praised St. Louis for is that they had the platoon system, and they were probably top 4 platoons in the league. They're up there with the Bishop Hudobins, the Rasks Halaks, the Varlamovs, the Grices. And I think it's a really good pickup. And then, looking at the salary, I think $14 million for 2 goalies is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're a team that has cap, I don't think that's an issue. And considering he only has 1 year left,
mm-hmm.
I don't think that's much of an issue at all. If anything, that's a really big pickup. And listen, Marc Bergevin finally made finally using his cap space.
It's weird. It says he's from Manitoba. I think he was born there. Eric Engel's saying apparently he is a Montreal native. Yeah, he played. He played in the queue for Montreal Juniors, Drummondville. Wow, this is. Man,
That's a really good pickup.
I am happy about that. We have a backup goalie. That's good. Oh my god. Okay. Then let's look at this from obviously the point of view of the St. Louis Blues, who we know need to clear. And it's really weird because we had a bit of a back and forth here. So I thought maybe you keep Allen because like it's so important to have a good tandem here. But that's $4.3 million off the books for them because he has a year left on his deal at 4.3.
So that moves them to 6.4 in projected cap space at 81.5.
Yes. Yeah, zero's salary retained. Wow. Man, there's still work to do, obviously. But I mean,
you fix it.
The right direction.
See, think about it like this: if you like watching how Montreal played in the playoffs, and then take that during the regular season, and have them playing instead of behind Keith Kincaid and Charlie Lindgren, and instead behind a competent goal in front of a competent goalie in Jake Allen. Like, yes, he's not the same Jake Allen they had before Jordan Binnington, but he's still a competent goalie. He's miles better than both Lindgren and Kincaid.
He might be the best backup goalie this team has had since Carey Price was backing up like Halak, and they had that platoon system.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. No questions asked. Now we're still waiting for Daniel.
Do we want to just wait for him?
Let's pause it, and then we'll get his. And then when he comes back, we'll get his thoughts. One.
All right. You heard my thoughts, Alex's thoughts. We lost Daniel for a bit. He's good, though. Starting with the Habs point of view, then maybe you want to go to the Blues. What do you think of this deal? Jake Allen, 1 year left on his B deal, 4.3. The Blues, cap space, at the Habs, a goalie. Backup goalie, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I've always liked Jake Allen. We've mentioned him. I don't know if I mentioned him before of his World Junior escapades. Yes, I have.
I think so.
Yeah, not enough, I think. Yeah, it's good. I think a good price for what they were able to get him for, especially they're taking his full salary. I just saw that on Twitter, that the Blues are not retaining any salary. So I think, it's a win-win for both teams. Montreal get some stability behind Carey Price. The Blues, we talked about it, how they're going to make the space for everyone. I think they're figuring out a way now.
Mm-hmm.
Not as crafty as a Kapanen, I know different value, but like the salary dump in that kind of way.
I think that's what it is. That's what I was going to I wanted to bring that up. For a third round pick, I think this was more of a cap dump for the Blues than it was. Right? Mm-hmm. Like you only giving up you're not, it didn't seem like you're getting much assets. Like I think if you retain salary, you definitely get more for Jake Allen. He's not $4.35. He's not $4.35 million goaltender.
No,
but he's not that bad.
He's the kind of guy where I always kind of felt he had the potential to be a full-time starter, but that whole time there, when he was coming up, Ryan Miller got acquired, and then they went with Brian Elliott and Jake Allen, and then when Jake Allen didn't really kind of figure it out too much, that's when Jordan Binnington started coming up. So it's kind of it's a situation now where not as much pressure there to kind of live up to that salary, but he's in a good position where he's going to thrive, I think, especially where he is in his career right now.
30 years old. Man, I'm happy. I know you brought it up to Alex, and I think Rachel Dory just brought it up on Twitter too, asking what Montreal were going to do with Allen because it's $15 million for your attendees. Though, you know what? He only has a year left. Yeah. And I mean, I think with Montreal's goaltending situation, I think for now, you don't want to, especially if you're only paying that price for a team that has cap hit selections in the draft up the wazoo. is like you kind of stall it with quality backup goaltending, which they've just acquired in Jake Allen, until Caden Primo is ready. Because again, the guy just had his first year in the AHL. Like you gotta get, because it's his job, eventually. But man, awesome, so happy. I'm so happy. But then you see, this is one problem that comes with the Pietrangelo stuff is they're gonna clear out his salary, but then it's really gonna be like, man, who's backing up Binnington? And if people keep exposing that blocker on him, I don't know.
That's the point I was making last episode. And like the whole thing with St. Louis is that they're a platoon system, right? Mm-hmm. So you get rid of Jake Allen, and then what? You still have to bring someone in. So I think before Daniel came back, I said they have $6 million in cap space. You have to re-sign Vince Dunn. You somehow got to figure out something with Alex Pietrangelo, and now you have to bring in a backup goalie. Mm-hmm. Because who do they have?
In their system right now, I was looking at this a few weeks ago, is Ville Husso. So, fun fact, he was the 4th round pick that the Blues acquired from the Leafs with Carl Grundstrom for Roman Polak. Okay. He's 25 right now. He's been in the AHL quite a bit. It's okay, I think, based on his numbers. For the amount of time he's been there. He's already 25, but I think for me, it looks like the Phoenix Copley situation in Washington, where it's a guy where he's been okay. He's been kind of steady in the AHL, and they're gonna kind of give him a chance until I guess something else comes up.
But you're not doing a platoon system with Ville Husso. That's the issue. So then it comes down to, do you trust Jordan Binnington enough to play 55, 60, 65 games? Because I don't see how you run Ville Husso for 30, 35 games.
Yeah, I'm not looking. Just the last point, and we can move on here. This was not just ruin the whole show. Why don't you? God damn it! I wouldn't have mentioned Ferrari now. God damn it!
It's okay.
Imagine if you didn't check your phone.
Someone would have checked. Someone would have checked Twitter. Someone would have checked Twitter.
By the way, it's really funny that 3rd round pick, you can make the argument, and Renaud Lavoie just mentioned this on Twitter. The 3rd you got for the Kovalchuk thing, which really cost you nothing, bringing in this free agent, really helped get that backup goalie you could really use. So thank you, Ilya Kovalchuk. You continue to give. Suck it, LA. Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay, I guess what we'll go now is do we want to talk about the Mark James stuff?
Yeah, let's just do. It's up to you.
Okay.
Let's do it then.
We're on the Habs, so we'll go to this now. Max Domi has fired his longtime agent, Pat Brisson. This makes it a lot easier to talk about. Now that the Jake Allen stuff was great news, and now I'm like, crap. So Max Domi. This is to every Habs fan that made fun of the Mitch Marner saga. Max Domi has hired Darren Ferris as his new agent. For those of you who don't know who Darren Ferris is, he is Andreas Athanasiou's agent, a.k.a. the guy who always threatens to go to the Swiss League every year. He's Victor Mete's agent, but again, he's also Mitch Marner's agent. And we all remember how that whole thing went last year.
Sorry, has the Zurich Lions called yet?
He can listen. If Domi pulls that stuff, you can go to the Italian league for all I care. I really think Max is gone. I don't think he has a place in the team anymore. He just
needs to get the jersey.
Didn't the same thing happen with I want to say it was Pacioretty?
So what happened there was the trade at the draft that was going to make it. He was going to go to the Kings and sign a deal. I think it was 4 times. It was something, and he didn't like it. So he fired his agent. I don't remember if it was Ferris himself, but he fired somebody.
I think it was Brisson, was it not?
I can't remember.
I'll search it up.
But yeah, and then that's when Pacioretty fired his agent. Thank God, because then we got Suzuki out of it and Tatar, which was wicked. But yeah, a lot of Habs, because people. The story's always made that Pat Brisson is a friend of Marc Bergevin. Even though that did fantastic thing when they tried to get Tavares, didn't even give us a meeting.
So Pacioretty was signed with Pat Brisson and fired him and then hired Alan Walsh.
So
Alan Walsh. Okay.
Yeah.
So Pat is used to this.
Who's even
Montreal
better.
Canadiens.
Yeah. Whatever, man. It's heartbreaking. What do you guys? I'm sure you guys got a good chuckle out of it, and I think you earned that.
I thought
Tommy's getting 6 and 6 now.
It was hilarious. I feel bad. I feel bad for you guys. If anything, I feel bad. That's 2 guys you have to deal Darren Ferris with. 2. And I know I get Victor Mete isn't a superstar or even like I don't know, Adam. I wouldn't consider him at the level of Max Domi.
He's not getting a lot of money.
But look how Darren Ferris has handled even a small deal like Andreas Athanasiou.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still threatened to go to Europe.
Man, honestly, if I'm Mark Bergevin and I see Victor Mete is making noise, I'm gonna say, so you know Alex Romanov. Yeah, you can leave if you're gonna keep pulling this.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is the one thing that I think will go against Domi in these negotiations, if they are with the Canadians, is that down the middle you're not really needed anymore because there's spot. Remember you asked me about just how possible it is that Kotkaniemi and Suzuki can continue in the top 6 role. What I should have mentioned is I think it's more of a worry for Kotkaniemi because Suzuki played a lot of time in the top 6 last year. And then you have Phil Deneau, who, and again, I've argued if you choose between Domi and Deneau, you go with Deneau.
Absolutely. I
like him more as a complete player, and he's a hometown boy, which means something. So, he's not as important to the team as Mitch Marner is to the Leafs, right? And then you think, if you're going to pull with Mete, it's dude, we don't need you. You're on the left side. We just do not need you right now. There are better options. Brett Kulak, who was in the doghouse for I don't know why with Claude Julien a lot this year, was fantastic and was able to play in that top 4 role this year. We don't need you if you want to pull. This is the Habs need to do, and Bergevin, we've heard about this, is you put your damn foot down because unlike Markov and Radulov who can just walk away, these are RFAs or they're screwed. You need to put your foot down here, all right? This is the one time I need Mark Bergevin to have a stick up his butt here and be like, no, you're not good. These children are not pushing me around.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing I was saying last year.
Mm-hmm. It's be like Lou Lamoriello in these negotiations.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's very good.
Why don't we transition to the idea you threw when we were paused?
I like that. Okay, so, lads, Frank Saravelli, who is the head of the Pro Hockey Writers Association, threw out his regular TSN trade bait board, and the names that were headlining there. And I asked you guys to each pick a name that we can focus on this board, just because I love this. Who doesn't love trade stuff? It's the best stuff in the world. Yeah. Sometimes I prefer trade deadline than some games. If I'm Montreal, Minnesota, who cares? Now, 2 of the names that are very interesting on this list. One is Nick Ehlers, who I made the joke on Twitter saying he's like Nylander of the West because it's Nick Ehlers feels like he's been on the trade block forever.
Since he signed his contract.
The other name was Patrick Laine. And the idea I had, I pitched this to Alex, is, think about it like this. Okay. The way people talk about Brian Little, it seems to be the injury, he might be done. Okay. So that money is LTIR. Sorry. Thank you, Lisa. You guys are experts at it. So then all of a sudden you have some cap to get the second line center you have desperately needed. And also you screwed yourself with the Wheeler deal. I don't like that. He's great, but at his age in that term. So you need a second line center. So the idea I had is the Habs, they're young, they're fast, they need goal scoring. Who's a young, fast guy who has scored plenty of goals in his career and could benefit from a change of scenery? Nick Ehlers. And Max Domi's a centerman. You can throw him there. He's a top 6 centerman. I mean, he's not a first-line center. Maybe there's a bit of love to go there together. Yeah.
Is that the second-line center that they're looking for, though?
I
Like
mean,
look at the guys they brought in the past. Paul Stastny, Kevin Hayes. I wouldn't consider them anything similar to Max Domi.
it's what it's. You gotta wonder which Max Domi. The only question is do you look at the potential and think, is this going to be 28 goal, 70-point Max Domi? Or I mean, what I think you got to think is, what can Max Domi do with a line mate like Patrick Laine instead of.
Yeah.
I'm trying to even think who was his line mate when he wasn't even playing with Suzuki, and I'm thinking like a revolving door of Paul Byron and Arturi Lehkonen, and I think that sounds pretty good. I'm just throwing it out there, right? I'm
No, I mean, I think it makes sense for Montreal. I mean, obviously, it won't be 1-for-1. Like, I think Montreal is gonna have to swing that deal. Like, Domi's coming off a poor year, and whatever you want to say about Ehlers, like there's a market for Nick Ehlers. If Kevin Cheveldayoff wants to trade Nick Ehlers, he can get a bidding war going. Like I think there's teams who'd want him.
mm-hmm.
Forget how young he is. Like, he's played quite a bit
Yeah.
already. He's only 24.
Yeah, man, he's young. I just don't see Winnipeg's side of it. Like, I think they're taking a lot of risk based on potential for your second line center. Like, if that's the case, I mean, everyone's talking about a guy like Jack Roslovic. I don't have to trade Nick Ehlers. I don't have to deal with Darren Ferris, and I have a second line center, even if he's not a second line center at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Daniel.
I was like thinking about that too. Jack Roslovic, he's coming up. He hasn't really played big minutes either, but he's kind of an option too. Where it's like, I agree. Like, there could be a bidding war there because they have that option there where they could look. Winnipeg could say, we don't have to trade one of these guys. So do you want him or you don't? But I admit to you, like, the Max Domi thing, it's a bit of a murky thing as well. Like, if it's like a 1-for-1 thing, like, Max kind of hasn't played up to, what I envision as a top 6 center this season, especially when he was like demoted here and there. And like, I guess it was because Montreal didn't know where to really put him. But to like go into a situation like Winnipeg and like, I don't know if it will fit, it will fit. But he's a bit of a streaky guy where I think after everything Winnipeg has kind of gone through with like losing guys free agency, that revolving door of their top 6 centers the past few years with Stastny and Hayes, I think they want consistency now, and I don't know. I don't see it with Max Domi.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. I will throw it out there. Mr. Cheveldayoff, if you would like, he's available. Because I still think I think somebody out there would like a Max Domi. I still think there's a lot for that player.
Mm-hmm.
So while we're on this trade bait board, why don't you guys give me a name you like, and while you can talk about them and this board and a trade possibility. Alex, I'll start with you.
This was the most surprising name of all of them for me.
Yes.
Chris Letang.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was quite clear that Jim Rutherford was keeping the OG core of Crosby, Malkin, and Letang. To see what, I don't know why you would trade that. Like, unless like you really want to bring Justin Schultz back. I don't, and you already crapped on Justin Schultz, JR. So I don't think that those contracts are going to be nice. So
this is very true.
What is this?
I remember this is probably like a while ago, but I remember during one of their cup runs when he was really injured, and there was already those rumblings that they wanted to get rid of Chris Letang and kind of rely on those core guys that I guess like they're not exactly at his level, but they found some consistency there, like Brian Dumoulin, or even like Justin Schultz when he wasn't in the doghouse. Or I remember when like they were talking about they wanted to keep Trevor Daley. I remember that being a talking point, but now like it's kind of a weird thing. Like they don't have, I guess, that luxury that I feel they had before. That I don't think where Pittsburgh is and the deals they've been doing the past few seasons, like they should it kind of shake up that defensive core?
Hmm.
Like, what do you replace Letang with? Like, yeah, I know, and we never ended up talking about it, but they signed that guy that Chase brought up. I don't even know how many months ago it was, Josh Maniscalco,
Hmm.
who's a right-handed defenseman. Like, yeah, you can plug him in on what your bottom pairing.
Hmm.
Who's gonna play? Who's gonna play at the top? Who's gonna play with who's? I think he plays with Dumoulin. Who's playing with Brian Dumoulin?
Juuso Rivkola.
That sounds great. Like, do you want to win or what?
I remember Rutherford saying, "We're not trading Crosby, Malkin, or Letang."
It
A few
doesn't make
weeks ago
sense.
he said that. So
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it, but I just like a quick mention. Why is Dougie Hamilton always on these lists? He's number 20 here. Shut up. No.
Well, they mentioned that I think in the art was it the extension. His extension's coming up. He has
That's
one more
the
year.
only
Yeah.
reason. That maybe
You
he's
sign him.
And apparently, like they're comparing to like the Justin Falk situation where if they can't get anything done in the offseason, then they're like, get assets for him.
hey, I hear there's a team who'd really like a right-handed defenseman. I'm not gonna point out who that team is. I'm just pointing that out.
Daniel, you're a player from the trade
The
list.
draft pick comes home. No.
Daniel, you're a guy from the trade list, please.
Yes. It's for me. I think I was looking at James Van Riemsdyk, and Kyle Palmier. I'll start with JVR. I love the guy.
Yeah.
I met him.
Really?
Pretty cool guy. Yeah, he signed my jersey. He was kind of
that's sick.
stoic, to be honest, but he did his best.
What a word to describe
Yeah,
JVR.
like he just, hi, how are you? Having fun? I'm like, yeah, having fun.
Stoic.
Daniel's sweating because he's meeting a Leafs legend.
Yeah, but the thing is, Kadri. I remember meeting Kadri that day. But yeah, that's another topic.
Yeah.
Wait, JVR. I think he's like that big body presence guy. Like I think there was a part of me when he was on the Leafs that he didn't become that power forward kind of guy out of University of New Hampshire that everyone kind of thought he was going to be when he went second overall. But I think he's become a steady forward where he still has that big body presence that, he could get to the net, he could score. The only thing that's my issue with him is that contract, is that the Flyers wanted to secure him and they gave him that term and they gave him a money that I guess right now I'm comfortable with, but as that contract ages, I'm not kind of sure the way he kind of plays to how that's gonna age well. Like the Flyers will have to retain salary,
Yeah.
and it's I don't know. I don't see it as much of a trade piece now as to when the Flyers think about, hey, all these guys we have of this core, let's change it up. But I don't think that's coming anytime soon. Like no matter what we've said about Claude Giroux, he's still in his prime. Sean Couturier to keep getting better. The defense, keeps improving. Carter Hart, he's young. So when I see that contract going, I guess wait and see the next 2 years.
Before Daniel moves on, I have something from Jeremy Rutherford of the Athletic, St. Louis.
Sure.
The Allen trade would seem to mean that the Blues are working towards an extension with Pietrangelo, but my understanding as of today is that they are not even close.
Oh, well, oh, crap.
So Dougie Hamilton and Alex Pietrangelo to the Leafs. That's crazy.
Stop it! Stop!
Daniel knows.
Stop it!
Daniel knows the easiest way to create controversy.
Yeah.
Man, we had this discussion last week. Shut the damn book. Okay.
Not
Okay.
Pietrangelo, yeah, no. Not Pietrangelo.
I'll
Yeah.
go to my next guy if that's okay. Or
I love
yeah.
Daniel. Daniel comes with two.
Yeah.
I knew
Honorable
it.
mention.
I knew it. I
I
knew
move-
it.
Dougie a bit there, so go ahead and have a second person, whatever.
Yeah, it's the kind of guy that we've all liked since the 2009 draft, Kyle Palmieri.
Okay,
Um,
sure.
I don't
yeah.
like him.
Former Duck, Kyle Palmieri.
I forgot about
I
that.
missed the guy. Yeah, he was really good on the Ducks. I think that for the production he's kind of shown with New Jersey, it's kind of been something that I don't think he could consistently do every year. Like I don't think he's a consistent high 60, mid 60 point guy, but I think he's someone that has flourished in New Jersey regardless of whatever center he's been given, like in terms of experience, inexperience, or overall instability with that franchise. He had 45 points this year, and I think he contribute. I think that he's not necessarily a top line guy, but he is a good guy that could platoon on that second line, or even on a team, make it a stretch third line guy. But For what he's been making right now, I believe with New Jersey, that
4.6.
4.6. Yeah, it's pretty reasonable for someone, especially he's only 29 and he had 25 goals, so pretty solid.
Listen, he sure is a fantastic centerman, but why not add to it with Max Domi? And give us Kyle Palmieri. Price will stop beating him up, I swear. Just saying. If you're a right-handed guy who can score goals, wouldn't you also like Max Domi in exchange for him?
This is like a bigger conversation that I kind of feel that I actually don't know where to go with New Jersey right now, like with everything's going on with them. Like I don't like I'm like, do you add, do you not add? I don't know.
You definitely don't add.
Don't touch anything.
No, well, they got rid of pieces that we talked about. The only piece that they didn't get rid of that I would have said, hey, maybe you should get rid of is Kyle Palmieri. But Adam made a good point. Like he's the leadership in that room. Like he is that room at the moment. There's what else are you going to get rid of?
Pavel Zacha. Have to give up on him.
Oh, that guy.
Who?
Pavel Zacha.
Oh, Pavel Zacha. Sorry.
I can't believe he went.
He's gonna break out this year.
He went 6th in 2015.
Man, what weird.
Like, there's not much that makes sense to trade. Like, you're really gonna get rid of Damon Severson and Will Butcher.
All right. We're drifting a bit too
it doesn't
far
make
away.
sense.
I'm just gonna drop the anchor.
Yeah, come on, Daniel.
Okay. My guy was Josh Anderson.
Yeah.
Because, man, this guy's going to get dealt. And, man, a lot of teams like this. He's one of those – he's compared to your Tom Wilsons, that kind of player he's big. He was injured this year, but last year had a fantastic year. It seems like Montreal apparently had interest in him. The Bruins at some point did. And, I mean, maybe if Kasha doesn't, disappoint him considering the guy couldn't score a goal. Was I right about the deal? We'll see. I really think that you could, maybe the level of capital, you could really get some teams going in on Josh Anderson.
Absolutely.
Man, I'm sure Columbus would love to keep him, but, man, that relationship has not been fantastic since day
I think he's a Darren Ferris client, too.
So do I.
Yeah.
It sucks.
There's value there still. Like, I know you had an injury-plagued season.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I don't know. Like, I know hindsight's 20/20, but, like, keeping this guy over, like, William Carlson has been kind of still a talking point. But Josh Anderson, what he kind of brings to the team, like, I think there's going to be a lot of teams interested in him, especially for people that kind of want to have a bit of bite to that lineup now.
Yes. And he's not right. My second guy is Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Because, man, he's so going to be a Bruin.
Is that where we're going next? Is that where we're going next?
But David Krejci is like, it's sad. Apparently, the core's gonna be gone in 2 or 3 years. So, like, you want to go there?
Retired. You're losing Torrey Krug.
If they lose Torrey Krug, and I texted Adam this last night because I've been thinking about this hard since we heard that that Arizona wants to rebuild. I won't be. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if Oliver Ekman-Larsson is wearing a Boston Bruins jersey by the start of next season. I don't know what assets they have to possibly trade for this, but they'll figure it out, especially if Peter Chiarelli is Arizona GM.
Yeah, I think, I'm like, I don't know, it's kind of shocked me you brought that up, but, like, looking at, like, what they kind of have in the system, like, they could probably make something work. They're not scared to give up draft picks. They've drafted pretty well outside of the first round as well to kind of do something.
Anders Bjork.
Like Jack Studnicka, I think that guy was a steal in the third round.
Weird name.
World Junior, great, Jack Studnicka.
Or you trade Tuukka Rask because, well, yeah, we're on the Coyotes page, so we'll just go a full little thing. This is from Elliot Friedman's 31 Thoughts, the blog. The 6 and 7 were the thoughts here. Let's talk about some Arizona. Let's talk more about Arizona. This is not an easy job right now, but there will still be interest. This is in regards to their general manager search. There are only 32 of these positions, again, in reference to the GM position in this league, and they are coveted. The Morello family is in the casino business, which has been hammered by COVID-19. There's been significant layoffs on the business side, and last week, assistant coach John McClain and video coach Steve Peters were let go. Several bonuses are due on September 1st, including Oliver Ekman-Larsson. During their postseason appearance, players are upset about late payments as per dimes. What does that even mean? Like
Per diems.
Oh,
Spending money.
okay, yeah, you know that stuff, right? You did sports fine. Okay. The goal will be to cut payroll and rebuild. The Coyotes have a tight cap situation for 2021, but then it eases. There's also the matter of the NHL stiff punishment for prospect workout violations. And then this is thought 7. We'll go to the machinations of that decision shortly, but the penalty means no current selections in the first 3 rounds of the 2020 draft and no first or third rounder in 2021. Expect the Coyotes to try and restock that. Even with an active goalie market, Darcy Kemper is a very attractive piece thanks to his impressive playoff performance. Signed for 2 more years at $4.5 million. He just got that extension.
Yeah.
Ekman Larson has 7 years at $8.25 per season, and the team would like to test his marketplace. And then there's some stuff about no move clause, but
before we start, this podcast is brought to you by 31 Thoughts. Okay, just putting that out there. Okay.
Yeah.
Adam didn't find that funny. Okay.
It's okay. I did.
Thanks, Daniel. Okay, let's get to this Arizona.
Yeah.
Where do you're gonna rebuild? It just seems like that's what all signs are leading towards. What the hell are you building around? Like, there's 2 names that I guess that jump out to me on who you're building around: Clayton Keller and Jacob Chikrin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want to trade Ekman Larson. You want, like, I read, like, you can get a pretty penny for Derek Stepan.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna.
I don't know. Really?
I don't know. Maybe not at 6.5, but what are you gonna do? Like Phil Kessel. Like, there's a couple names. Like, I'm like, you're really gonna trade this guy? You're gonna trade Nick Schmaltz? You're gonna trade Christian Dvorak? Like, I mean, you can definitely get something for Connor Garland.
You think it's more of like a trim around it to, like, you kind of keep the guys under 25 around?
It makes sense.
I mean, like, you're trimming some major fat, especially on the back end.
Alex Goligoski.
When everyone is trying to do that.
Yeah, like, everyone's trying to trim fat, and you're going to go into a total rebuild. Is that really what you're about to do? Like,
who's like cut their losses?
Like, who's going to take Phil Kessel at $6.8 million?
That's right. They're not going to get like a Pierre Oliver Joseph back, but they could get, something back.
You're really cutting your losses, and you don't have a first round pick, you don't have a second round pick, and you don't have a third round pick this year.
Okay, let's look at the Darcy Kemper front here, because we all saw what he did in the playoffs and when he was healthy, what he did in the regular season. The guy, if he had played some more games, would probably have been a Vezina finalist.
Yeah, if he didn't get injured.
Yes, and at 2 years, $4.5 million, you could get a pretty nasty return. And I wonder if there is some sort of situation where you deal a Frederick Anderson, it's a low cap hit. Maybe the Leafs look at trying to get a Darcy Kemper.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, if the rumors about them really shopping Frederick Anderson are true, and we talked about it last episode, you're not trading Frederick Anderson just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
If there's some type of deal, probably 3-team deal, that sends Anderson somewhere and brings Darcy Kemper in, like, I can't complain about it. Like, Darcy Kemper, like, it's not like Darcy Kemper was being sheltered as a goalie.
Yes.
Like, that guy was getting shot after shot after shot after shot after shot after shot. Like, that guy.
He's already used to it. If he comes
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's a really good pickup for Toronto, but I think it'd be a really good pickup for any team. Any team that's looking for some type of goaltending.
Dan.
Yeah, I don't know what the Coyotes are going to, like, I don't know. This has been a talking point, I think, the whole year for us about they're such a confusing franchise. Like, if we're not going to pick the Devils, we're going to pick the Coyotes. That they went for it for some reason. They got all these guys, all these huge contracts, and then they're like, listen, it's our time. And then now, I guess they do make it out of the play-in round, but like, they looked absolutely embarrassing against the Avalanche.
Yes.
And the fact that like, you're not getting the same kind of consistency you want from your big contract guys, it's just not working. Like, I don't think Derek Stepan, I've never thought this, by the way, even when he was on New York, he's not a first line center.
No.
Christian Dvorak, he's been given a lot of money already, and I don't think he's proven it yet that he deserves that contract. Clayton Keller, he's gonna go into that extension, and he's already had 2 off years. I don't think the core is there yet for them to kind of gone in and got like a guy like Phil Kessel, that kind of term, or throw in so many assets and get Taylor Hall for like a run like this. That it's just, I think it just was poor management. Maybe like John Chaika had a lot, there was a lot of pressure on him to perform. I
That's
think.
the name. Was there pressure in
I think there's
Arizona?
pressure for them to say, "Hey, listen, you've been pretty competent with drafting. Now get the big names that people are gonna recognize, so we could sell some tickets."
Even drafting, what has he done?
Uh,
Out of the first round.
hmm, Barrett.
Let's
Barrett Haynes. But speaking of
Barrett Hayton.
Taylor Hall, apparently they're going to make another pitch to him today. And last time they made the pitch, it was long term at $7.5 million. So I imagine it's going to be bumped up.
But yeah, I think like it's
Which
been a
I-
bad. Yeah, go on.
Which doesn't even still, if you're rebuilding, why the hell are you re-signing Taylor Hall? Figure out what you want to do and let
I think
people
it's
know.
it's like a namesake thing. I think like when you go into these games, like I just think of like smaller markets where you're like, I'm gonna get the Taylor Hall jersey, I'm gonna get the Phil Kessel jersey, because like even diminishing returns, like you're gonna have like these guys. Like I remember when the Minnesota Wild were losing money, and even when he was so frustrated, they threw money at Marian Gaborik because he was their guy.
But then you're not committed to a rebuild. Like the Leafs weren't committed to a rebuild with Dion Phaneuf and Phil Kessel.
Yeah.
You had to trade those guys. It wasn't an option to have those guys in the room. So like you can't keep Taylor Hall there through a rebuild.
Do you think
I
it's
just
like
don't think it makes sense.
it's like a different kind of patience? Do you think though, like depending on the markets, like the Coyotes are not
No,
gonna have that
they
same
don't
kind
have
of like leash?
more
Yeah.
ownership that's just been brought in, and then all of a sudden, their first year being in, the GM who convinced them is now gone. You've just given this penalty. The pandemic has hit, where not only their team is now screwed, but again, their own industry, casino,
Yeah.
already mentioned. I think it's more a pissed off ownership that is just are being hit from all sides.
But I
I
didn't.
have
Yeah. Sorry. Go.
Do
I
you think
have
they're gonna
hockey
be
teams
like
that-
conscious? Do you think they're gonna be conscious about their assets now? Like they're gonna
I
go
think
like,
there'd be more
listen, we're
involved.
either keep them or give us what we want.
I think it's more going to be. I think they'd sacrifice it just to get the money off the books. At
You
this
think the
point.
fire sale's happening?
And I don't blame them because man, I have lost so much respect for John Chayka for the situation he's left that team in. Just going back to 2011 onwards for drafting, and NHL play. Sorry, people who have played NHL games. Lucas Lescio, 41. Connor Murphy, who's not even there anymore. 2 games for Merrick Langhammer. Henrik Samuelsson, 3 games. Jordan Martinook, not even there anymore. Connor Clifton, 50 games. Laurent Dauphin, 35. He's in Montreal system now. Max
Connor
Domi.
Clifton isn't even there.
Yeah, Max Domi isn't there anymore. Michael Bunting, have you heard of him? Dvorak, he was a third rounder. Brendan Perlini hasn't really done much, but that's 200
Not even
games, that's
there.
the first round.
He's not even there anymore.
Yeah.
Again, we all know what happened with Dylan Strome. Nick Murley got dealt. Christian Fischer's played 200 games. Kyle Campabianco, who's only played 12 games, 30 for Eden Hill. Connor Garland at least was a fifth rounder. Then you go to 2016, Clayton Keller, obviously. Jacob Chikrin,
Yeah.
but he fell. Again, first rounder. And then 2017, no one has played an NHL game yet. 2018, only Barrett Hayton, but then you start getting recently. But still, those are all the names. And doesn't have they been on the Yotes at some point? but they haven't made a difference, which is it's great if you draft, but then there's that also key part, development.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we finish? Are we anything else you guys want to mention with the Yotes, or shall we?
I think the last thing I'd say is make a decision. Like, what do you want to do? Like, don't sign Taylor Hall and then trade Ekman Larson and Phil Kessel and Derek Stepan. Like, unless it's really for the name brand, I think I'd argue that Oliver Ekman Larson is more of a name brand in the city of Arizona than Taylor Hall would be.
Yeah.
Like, he was developed by the team. Like, this is Oliver Ekman Larson is Arizona.
I agree. Daniel, any last words?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that too. That if you're gonna trade anybody, don't trade that guy. If you're not going for the fire sale.
Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Who has grown his brand over the past few years in the market he's played for? Bring him back, familiar with the team for Oliver Ekman Larson? Max Domi.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Okay, well, lads, we'll start with Tampa, Boston. Praise! Everyone, put your hands up and clap. The Bruins are gone. They're gone. They're gone. In 5 games, Tampa Bay Lightning.
That was surprising.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was actually.
It was.
Oh gosh, it feels so good. The Bruins are gone.
As soon as I said that it would be competitive, it became uncompetitive.
I picked this for 7.
So did I. I thought this is a series that has to go to 7. Like, these are two juggernauts, and I just felt like Boston just didn't show up.
They just stopped scoring goals. And
Yeah.
I mean,
no, Adam, it's not that they didn't stop scoring goals. It's that Tuukka Rask. It's clearly because Tuukka Rask left. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a very famous quote, it's a tweet from Mark James on Twitter. I've never heard of this
Coward.
guy. Okay, and I don't know what to do. His thing is Steph Curry's favorite sports show talk host, paid opinion maker on the mic, whatever. 2 masters from the unit from someplace, I don't know. Well, anyway, like, we don't need to know who this guy is. I don't think it matters because he tweeted this out after the Bruins were eliminated. Dear Tuukka, as a lifelong Bruin fan, I'm disgusted by your cowardly decision to give up. You quit on Boston. And Boston, the men, the women, and the children. He gave up on Boston.
Yeah.
Your coaches.
Bruce
all
Cassidy.
Of your teammates.
Patrice Bergeron.
Pat. How could you? Yourself. Every Bruins fan. Little Timmy, who was little Bruins teddy bear, Tuukka Rask gave up on him. I hope that I never have to see you, capital U, didn't spell the word, in a black, it's yellow, not gold, in a black and gold sweater with the spoked B again. I want to remind everyone really quickly, by the way, that Tuukka Rask left because there was a medical situation with his daughter. And his children, I believe, are all very young. And this dude tweets that out. Man, shut up. Shut up. Go ahead, guy. Let's just be quick about this because this guy's just a loser.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Blame the goaltending all you want. Go ahead. You clearly know that's not the reason. You know that's not the reason.
Halak wasn't bad. It's just the team didn't score.
They scored 4 goals in the last 3 games.
That's inexcusable for what a quote unquote elite offense. It's nothing to do with Tuukka Rask.
Man, again, I don't want to keep harping on this, but Andre Kasha has not scored a goal in the Bruins uniform.
Okay, let's talk about the Bruins. Let's pretend that tweet. We talked about the tweet. Let's talk about
it's a better first round pick for the Ducks now.
Let's talk about what what the hell went wrong in this series? For the Bruins, like I think for the Lightning, everything went right. Like they still don't have Steven Stamkos, which is really upsetting because he's on my fantasy team, and I was told he was going to be back round 1. I'm really upset about that. But it seemed like everything went right. Vasilevsky is Vasilevsky. The guys who needed to step up have stepped up. They're getting points from literally everyone.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot more you could ask from that team.
What I kind of loved with Tampa was like you said it perfectly. Like they were getting contributions from everyone. Like every time they rolled out a line, like you had Cirelli, they had Point, they had Killorn, like they had quality going everywhere in this lineup, and they were able to like click. Like Braden Point is isolated. That's okay. They have all these other guys coming out. Like Kevin Shattenkirk has, I think, rebuilt his reputation with this series.
This is very true. Because we are running out of time here. I want to take a moment because I think we need to look at Zdeno Chara. Does not have a contract for next year. This man has been playing. He's in his 40. I think he's 43.
43? Yeah.
Has been the captain of the boss. Like it's incredible just how much that guy meant for the cities. He was going to Black Lives Matter marches and that. The physical specimen, a real leader, from all you can tell, a real good person. And there is a legitimate chance that we could have seen the last game of Zdeno Chara's career. Yeah. And man, that's surreal to me.
Only if he played the right side.
Then bring him in for Toronto? Could you imagine if they did? Like, would you guys? I know he's not right-handed and he's old, but like, would you guys accept the Leafs bringing him in just to be like, suck it, Boston?
I don't know. Like, he double dipped though. He played for Ottawa and he played for Boston.
No, I'd be fine with it.
Okay, first of all, the Sens let him go. Don't even try.
I know, but he was during those like early runs where that was when like the real Battle of Ontario was happening. Like,
just during the regular season.
The playoffs.
During the playoffs, the Leafs just smacked.
The Leafs dominated.
Listen.
Yeah, go ahead. I was about to say, when I bring up Zdeno Chara, I don't think we were going to talk about the Islander and Ottawa days.
But like, as much as he is a pest, and you hate him when he's on the ice, you do have to respect him as a player, and the fact that he's 43 years old and has been playing since he was like 2019, like since he's been 19 or 20 years old. Like that's a lot of time. So you do got to respect him for that.
Yes. Okay.
I remember he was traded to Ottawa for the second overall, like with the second overall pick.
Who did that? Who did that deal?
Milbury?
Mike Milbury. Yeah, he gave up an 18-year-old Jason Spezza.
Oh, okay.
Not the first time he'd give up a future Hall of Famer for nothing. Hello, Roberto Luongo. All right. Next, last night, Vancouver have forced a Game 6 versus Vegas on the backs of not Jacob Markstrom, who I believe actually left the bubble.
No, that was did he? I thought it was Grubauer who.
Yeah, Philip Grubauer.
No, it was Grubauer. Okay, I had that in front of me too on the notes. What am I doing wrong? I put all this down. Oh yeah, what am I doing? Because I talked about how Markstrom was at the game with his mask upside down. Yeah. What am I thinking? I remember
you're too frazzled by the Jake Allen trade.
Man, I'm happy with that deal. Everyone who's saying about the bad cap space, like, shut up. They don't have any. They're not against the cap.
Get over it.
I have to shoot a video after this because I got it.
Jeez, boys.
Anyway, Jacob Markstrom is hurt, unfortunately, or unfit to play. That's the whole thing. So young Thatcher Demko got the nod, and he was incredible last night. The sole reason the Canucks won that game. But before we go to the game, did you guys see the sticks?
I did. I did. I thought.
So for those of you who did not see it, I have it up on my phone here. So it's been very funny, like people trying to keep faking up in warm-ups to see who's in the lineup. And Sportsnet notably saw Tyler Toffoli stick when he came back into the series. So what the Vancouver Canucks did is they got a bunch of sticks, put tape over them, and put broadcaster names on them. So they put Oak for Scott Oak, Bieksa,
Yeah.
Pascal, Sarcastic Campbell Pascal. I thought I was gonna say Pascal Siakam for some reason. Shout out to my Celtics in six things looking good. Murphy, Friedman, Shorthouse, The Well. No Anthony Stewart before. And for a goalie stick, they put Crudy on it for Kelly Rudy.
I'll put it up on the screen.
I almost like the Canucks again. I almost do, but I mean, yeah. If you want to see it, Alex just brought it up on the YouTube, so go check out the YouTube version.
Who's Lodo? I forgot.
Lotto.
I have no idea.
Come on.
Nobody.
Oh, that's funny.
It's great. It's fantastic. But anyway, Thatcher Demko, guys, he stepped up.
Yeah.
Huge.
That's huge.
What do you make of it?
I think it's really good. Like,
Mikey DiPietro is going to be the backup next year.
Hey, listen, I asked the question. I asked Harmon the question. I said, what are the chances that happens? And he made it seem like that wasn't even an option. So, I mean, listen, it's one game. And we've seen Thatcher Demko play during the regular season, right? That stretch without Markstrom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's starter quality yet. If he's a number one. Like, I think he can be part of a platoon.
Right now, yeah. It's like I remember when the hype was real for him. When he was
back in the NHL video games where that guy would go like 90 overall. But
like I was kind of thinking, like, does he have the Askarov potential?
But listen, seriously, I do think I don't think one game should change their mentality on what they do with Markstrom. Like, I do think they end up going real hard at making sure they bring Markstrom back. But let's see what Demko looks like for the rest, because right now it seems like he has a bit of a groin injury, Markstrom. So, like, let's see what happens next game. Mm-hmm. If he can keep the Canucks alive again, because let's be honest, that first period and a half, he kept them alive.
Mm-hmm. Listen, all Demko needs to do is be hot for 2 games.
Yeah,
which any goalie can do.
Exactly. Even Michael Hutchinson.
Oh, and there it is.
There it is.
No.
I guess we'll just go to that then.
Yeah.
Fleury in game 6.
So, what?
No.
Fleury in game 6.
No. Fleury's not. No, stop it, Daniel. Stop trying to defend Marc-Andre Fleury.
Michael Hutchinson is a better option than Mark.
No, he's not.
Whoa! That's hot take right there. That's the hot take of the episode.
That's slander.
Listen, before we move on, Daniel, the Las Vegas Golden Knights have to ride the hot hand. I don't care that Marc-Andre Fleury was the reason your franchise made it to the Cup final 2 years ago. You ride the hot hand.
Okay. How about you drive the hand that has a higher than a 905 save percentage in the regular season and a less than 900 in the playoffs? Just saying.
Go with the gold medal guy.
Corey Schneider has a gold medal, doesn't he? No, he doesn't. No, because he's American and sucks.
He has a silver medal, maybe.
Somewhere. I think he was a World Junior backup goalie when they won the silver.
Wasn't even good enough to start back. Typical New Jersey goaltenders, always overrated.
Hey, don't talk about Mackenzie Blackwood.
All right, we'll keep going here. And I'll start with you here then, Daniel, because Michael Hutchinson, noted Civ when he was a backup goalie for the Toronto Maple Leafs, gets the nod for the Avalanche in game 5. I mean, he did do it.
The offense saved him. The offense saved him.
Scored 5 goals.
How wrong could I have been?
But like Grubauer's left the bubble because he's hurt, right? Like the hopes and dreams of, and like what's really funny is people were saying, like, what did Sakic do to address the goaltending at the deadline? He brought in That's the funny thing. He addressed the depth issues. And somehow Michael Hutchinson.
Oh my god. I sent a text. I'm done. I'm done making predictions. I've done like 3 over the playoffs and I've got them all wrong. I'm absolutely done making playoff predictions. I sent a text to Mike. I said, "Hey Mike, I hope you really didn't bet tonight because Michael Hutchinson is starting in the Colorado game." What happens? Dallas apparently doesn't know how to shoot a puck and Colorado decided to wake up.
I love it.
Simply put the puck on net. That's all I had to say. And I put, like, come on.
Daniel.
Yeah, that was an interesting game.
Mention Connor
They
Timmins
s-
while you're
yes.
here, by the way.
Yes, so I am very excited that our boy Connor Timmins made his playoff debut. Real junior great Connor Timmins. He actually was pretty solid. He was more than a point per game guy, and good right hand side guy. But yeah, I think it's just something Colorado's been able to do is when the injuries come up, they've been able to stretch out these guys. Like, yeah, we joke about Michael Hutchinson, but the guy, he was confident in net.
Yeah, when you don't let 35 shots on him.
Yeah,
When you don't let Jonathan Drouin get 2 breakaways in the game.
Yeah.
he just needs to be okay.
That's an idea.
He just needs to be okay, and then Colorado just needs to put, the puck on the net.
Mm-hmm. It was
Get pucks deep.
It was a very strong response to Game 4, in which it was a rough game for Colorado. And Cale Makar had a really, really bad giveaway. But it was really nice is Gabriel Landeskog and Nathan MacKinnon were very much there to defend him right after the game. And Nathan MacKinnon, he's so good.
But before we go there, because we know he's an amazing guy, but remember that Corey Perry hit that pushed Cale Makar into Michael Hutchinson?
Come on, Corey.
He's such a... I cannot stand Corey Perry.
What a pest.
He's okay. He has his redeeming qualities.
Yeah, the one heart. Did he win the heart?
He won the heart and
the one time he won
Rocket
the
Richard.
heart. Yeah, the one time he won the heart. That's his
So-
redeeming quality.
So, I'm still waiting to hear them. You always talk about Corey Perry, but I'm waiting to hear if he's a good guy or not.
He's a good guy, I hear. I mean, my friend had a picture with him at a Canadian Tire signing, so yeah.
Listen, I bet he's a great guy off the ice.
Didn't check my friend, so I was fine.
And and I definitely grab a beer with him. But he's a pain in the ass on the ice.
He is the worst. God,
He's the bite that every team would want.
Yeah. I just wish he was 5 years younger.
Yeah.
I'd love him on my team. So what's really nice about is we still have hope for a Game 7 in these series.
Yeah.
Man, I just want one. I'm so sick of 5-game series now. And we'll go to the next one. Okay. Let's talk about the stupid Flyers then. Let me see if I can.
You sound so interested speaking about them.
Okay, so at 8:35, I typed this on my phone. How did this controversial Islanders goal affect Claude Giroux not scoring a single goal for the Flyers? I looked up from my phone after finishing typing that. No less than 20 seconds later, Giroux scored. And whatever. What do you want me to say? Philly won in OT. They're forcing a Game 6.
Yeah, that's about it. I don't. Again, it's like we were talking about Boston. The guys who are supposed to show up are not showing up. Great, Giroux scored one goal. Congratulations. Do you want an award? I'll give you a participation ribbon. Show up. The only guy that really feels like is actually showing up is Carter Hart.
Yes.
And Ivan Provorov because he's playing defense. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. The guys who are supposed to be scoring goals are scoring goals. The issue with playing the Islanders is as soon as they get a 1-goal lead, they park the bus. That's it. You're not doing nothing unless you can get past them. And I think I think they have the players that can get past them, but they're not doing it.
Daniel, what did you make of the Islanders' play? Because Barry Trotz has actually been quite critical of them. They haven't been playing they've been doing their damnedest to shut the Flyers down. But it feels like they haven't. Maybe the system is starting to, because it's a very demanding sort of play here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. I think there's been a bit more, slips here and there in that system this playoff series. I think they were to a T against the Capitals. Maybe it was just the familiarity what Barry Trotz had with that team, but what I kind of would find with the Flyers is that it's a situation where they don't have a lot of their guys coming up to perform with what we expect them to be like, especially what they're paid to be like, and yet they're still managing to crawl themselves back into this series no matter what's going on. And I think that's where the criticism might be pointed at, that you have, I'm sorry to say it, I think they have a lesser team based on past playoff performances in the Flyers that the Islanders are not taking advantage of.
What really sucks for both teams, and I think this is more to do, Alex, with the Islanders, is Sean Couturier and Matt Barzal neither played in OT. I did see that it was an issue. Barry Trotz said it was a definite concern that Barzal may not play Game 6. I haven't seen anything on Couturier yet, but those are I can't think of much worse players for you to lose for either team. Easily, I think the best skaters on each team, because goalies are their own realm of weirdness.
Yeah. The Islanders are so it's so boring.
You're not wrong.
If I'm being 100% honest, I think if the Islanders win the cup playing this style of hockey, watching the next 5 years of hockey is going to be a living hell, because we all know it's a copycat league. The NHL is a copycat league, right? For the most part. That they we have to play this style, and I feel like we're just gonna go back to this boring defensive style of hockey, and we're just walking backwards.
Mm-hmm. Twitter will also be a
nightmare.
How to put it? A cesspool if the Islanders win, and I kind of want it to happen.
I think.
I think. Yeah. I may hate the Islanders, but Leafs Islanders Twitter. I can't wait that Tavares for 3 years is going to be asked, "Hey, do you regret?" He knows it's happening. There's something I wanted to mention, guys. It's escape. Yeah, I was going to say this. Let's be honest. I think the series we all kind of want is Colorado Tampa in the finals. That's so fun. Also, I forgot to mention this with Vegas. It's so annoying to see Pacioretty play well, because he never did it as a hab in the playoffs. But is there anything else we want to talk about quickly?
No, Shea Theodore scored a beautiful goal last night.
Oh yeah, I thought of you when I saw that, Daniel.
I know, I don't know. I already knew at the time, he was a guy going back and forth with San Diego and Anaheim, but what they did at that expansion draft was inexcusable.
What did they do? How did he do at the World Juniors?
He was solid. He won with Max Domi.
That's good to hear.
See connection from past. He won with Max Domi, Connor McDavid, and Anthony Duclair, and Zach Fucali.
Wow.
That team. That was a
throwback.
Team.
The next backup goalie for the Washington.
Before we end the episode, should we just congratulate the Seattle Kraken on getting one of Jakob Markstrom or Thatcher Demko? Should we just do it now?
Congrats, guys. I know you can do it.
Because if they re-sign Jacob Markstrom, someone's going to be exposed.
Yeah.
So can they take Max Domi?
Or Thatcher Demko to the Leafs.
A year early? I don't know about that.
All right, guys. Daniel, why don't you wrap it up for us?
Hey, guys. It's Daniel here. If you enjoyed watching this episode, check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on Voice Ed. Thanks, guys, for sponsoring us again. Yeah, we have very interesting social media, so please check us out on Twitter, on Instagram. We post a lot of funny things, freak out a lot, you know. If you like the Jake Allen snippet here, then be prepared to check our Instagrams and Twitters. Thanks, guys. We love you.
Awesome. See you guys.
You forgot my YouTube channel.
At Adam's YouTube channel. I was saving it best for last, yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I gotta go record that now.
Okay. See you guys.